Good day. Here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has acknowledged the contributions of Filipino workers and vows that the government would protect and promote their rights and welfare. In his Labor Day message, Marcos paid tribute to the hard work and sacrifices of the Filipino workforce as well as their important role in shaping the society. He said they would take this celebration as an opportunity to develop concrete steps to meet the needs of every family, ensure workplace safety, and protect the right to a better future. The President assured workers that the government is an active partner of the people in creating a fair and just society under the Bagong Pilipinas vision. He guaranteed the continuity of projects and policies to highlight their dignity and promote their growth and prosperity. President Marcos led the 123rd Celebration of Labor at the SMX Convention Center in Pasay City with the theme Manggagawang Pilipino Kaagapay sa Pag-unlad, Sandigan ng Mas Matatag na Bagong Pilipinas. The event, spearheaded by the Department of Labor and Employment, offered over 12,000 job opportunities by 100 participating employers for about 1,500 job seekers. Government agencies offered services such as medical consultations, free training programs, pre-employment documentation, and advisory services. The President also led the ceremonial distribution of cash aid under the TUPAD program and the DOLE Adjustment Measures program. Aside from the event at SMX, DOLE conducted simultaneous job fairs in 69 areas across the country. The Department of Labor and Employment has allocated 2.57 billion pesos to help workers nationwide through the DILEEP or DOLE Integrated Livelihood and Emergency Employment Program. The DILEEP has provided emergency employment to over 389,000 Filipinos through the Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged Displaced Workers or TUPAD. Meanwhile, over 17,000 have received livelihood grants through the DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program under DILEEP. DOLE said Calabarzon tops the regions in terms of allocated DILEEP aid with the 457.8 million pesos for nearly 76,000 beneficiaries. Aside from aid from DILEEP, about 1,170 kadiwa ng Pangulo sites were opened nationwide this Labor Day where workers and the public can buy affordable and fresh goods. Meanwhile, DOLE said the review of the minimum wage rates in some regions is also set to begin this month as ordered by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. DOLE's Bureau of Local Employment Head Assistant Secretary Patrick Patriwirawan Jr. said they are ready to implement the appeal of labor groups for a 200 peso legislated wage hike once approved by Congress and signed by Marcos. Senators have joined calls for higher wages for workers this Labor Day. Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri reaffirmed his commitment to push for a daily minimum wage increase. The Senate has previously approved a 100 peso wage hike, while the House of Representatives has proposed a 200 peso increase. Zubiri said that amid the rising costs of goods and services, an increase in wages is a right they must respect and fight for. Senator Grace Post said for workers who are barely making enough to make ends meet, a wage increase that will give them a respectable standard of living will be a timely and meaningful gift. Meanwhile, Senate President Francis Chis Escudero hailed the country's workforce as the true pillars of the nation's economy and urged the public to honor them this Labor Day. Escudero noted that the total labor force of the Philippines currently reaches more than 50 million people. Likewise, Senator Loren Legarda said the gains of national progress must reach the tables of every Filipino worker here or abroad. In other news, the Commission on Elections says the campaign period for the May 12 polls remains generally peaceful despite several incidents of election-related violence. The Philippine National Police had validated 35 election-related incidents with 13 reported fatalities. In an interview, Comelec Chairperson George Garcia said the PNP's higher-ups have expressed concerns over these incidents. He noted that several areas in the country have been considered in the red category or those with serious threat of election-related violence. He said PNP and Army personnel have been deployed from more peaceful areas to provide security. Meanwhile, Garcia said the Comelec is investigating at least 242 cases of alleged vote buying. The poll body has also issued show-cause orders against candidates that allegedly violated anti-discrimination guidelines during their campaign. In our business news, state-run Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation or PAGCOR has earned 4.2 billion pesos in net income in the first quarter of the year. In a statement, PAGCOR said the net income during the period was 23% higher than last year's 3.43 billion pesos. Revenue so far jumped 11.2% to 28 billion pesos from 25.2 billion a year ago. The bulk of its sales came from gaming operations, which contributed 25.52 billion pesos. On the other hand, operating expenses fell by 15.54% to 6.21 billion pesos from 7.36 billion pesos last year. PAGCOR's total contributions to nation building reached 18.9 billion pesos in the first quarter, higher than last year's 15.56 billion. PAGCOR Chair and Chief Executive Officer Alejandro Tenco said they remain committed to responsible governance and fiscal discipline, allowing them to contribute further to nation building. Meanwhile, fuel companies have rolled back prices of liquefied petroleum gas or LPG for the third consecutive month. In separate advisories, Petron, Regasco, and Solein branded LPG slashed LPG prices by 1 peso per kilogram starting midnight of May 1. This adjustment brings down the cost of a regular 11-kilogram household LPG cylinder to 11 pesos. Data from the Department of Energy showed that an 11-kilogram LPG tank is priced at 1,085 pesos. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the PNA headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The PNA Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I'm Wilnard Barcelona. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.